Someone like to read the Sanskrit?
I can read.
Yes, please.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. The word Srajami is significant herein. Srajami cannot be used in the sense of creation because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existent. So the Lord's form is not that it's created at any time. Our material bodies are created, but the Lord's form exists eternally. All the forms of the Lord are existing eternally. Therefore, Srajami means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. So when the Lord appeared 5,000 years ago, that is the Lord himself. That is his transcendental form. His form is not material as we have a material form right now. And we are the spirit soul inside this material body. But Sri Krishna, his form is transcendental. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, of the 28th millennium, of the 7th Manu, in one day of Brahma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he's completely free to act in many ways at his will. So the Supreme Lord, he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya, that whenever there is a decline in religious practice, I come millennium after millennium. So his scheduled time for coming is, he comes once in a day of Brahma as Krishna himself. Krishna has many incarnations. He comes in all the yugas, he comes in all the manvantaras, he has so many incarnations as they are waves in the ocean. So they are unlimited. But he himself, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes only once in one day of Brahma. And what is his schedule? He comes in the 7th Manu. There are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. In one day of Brahma, there are 1,000 Satyug, 1,000 Dwapara Yug, 1,000 Treta Yug, and 1,000 Kali Yug. 1,000. And there are 14 Manus in this 1,000 Chatur Yugas. And so each Manu sees 71 of this cycle. So in the life of each Manu, there will be 71 Satyug, 71 Kali Yug, 71 Treta Yug, 71 Dwapara Yug. And when does Krishna come? He comes in the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu. So out of the 14 Manus, when there is 7th Manu, and that also in the 28th Dwapara Yuga. So out of 71 in the 28th. So by this calculation, we can understand that the life of Lord Brahma of our universe is about 50 years old. He's about middle-aged. Why? Because Brahma lives for 100 years. There are 14 Manus. And then Krishna comes in the life of the 7th Manu. So Krishna just came 5,000 years ago. So this is approximately the age of the Brahma of our universe. Right now, he's middle-aged, 50 years. And then Krishna has no obligations to adhere to such rules and regulations. Although this is a scheduled time for him to come, he doesn't have to. No one can force him. He is supremely independent. Krishna is Swarat, independent. He's completely free to act at his will. We think we are independent, but we cannot act as we like. Sure, we have tiny independence, tiny, not much. Our independence is compared to that you tie an animal with a rope and you tie him to a post. So there is a wooden post, and then, for example, there's a cow, and so the rope, you tie the rope along the neck of the cow. So the cow can walk only as much as the rope is, only that much independence. The cow cannot go 2 kilometers away from the wooden post. Why? Because the rope is not 2 kilometers. If the rope is just, say, 100-meter rope, that's the only independence, and that's what we have. We are not supremely independent. How we can see it? For example, I want to like go right away to the spiritual world, leave the body right away. We can't. We can't. We do not have the free will. Whenever the time is there, we will be forced to leave the body. We don't want to get old. We don't want to get diseased. But those are beyond our control. So we can see that we are not independent, but Krishna is completely independent. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of irreligiosity and a disappearance of true religion. So Krishna comes by his own will. No one has to force him to come. No one has to tell him, hey, Krishna, you have to come here now. You have to come in the womb of Devaki and accept Vasudeva as your father. No, he chose them. Nobody asked us that, oh, do you want to be born to such and such parents in such and such country? Nobody asked us. For us, we are forced. But for Krishna, it is his choice. He's completely independent. And so when does he come? Whenever there is a predominance of irreligiosity and disappearance of true religion. Disappearance of true religion. Many people talk a lot about religion. Many people use religion to fulfill their own personal agenda. We can use religion and use it to get famous ourselves. We can use religion to get other people's sympathy. We can use religion in so many ways. But what is true religion actually? What is true religion? The principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas. And any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas makes one irreligious. So the Vedas are writing, what is true religion? What is true religion? It's written in the Vedas. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. Why can't we speak? Why can't we establish religious laws? We are having laws of the country. We have laws of driving. We have laws of, each country has its own laws. And then we go, even in each company has its own work ethics. We say that's the law of that company. Or each house will follow their particular thing. So, but what is the law for all humanity? What is the law? That is spoken by the Lord himself. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. No human being can lay down what the principles of religion are. Why? Why no human being can establish religious principles? Because all human beings are subject to 4 defects. We commit mistakes. Our senses are imperfect. We are in illusion, and we have the propensity to cheat. So with such so many defaults, we cannot lay down a principle which is beyond fault. So we can see that because of these 4 defects, all our knowledge will be defective. So on these defective knowledge, how can we lay down the principles of religion? That's the reason the Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by the Lord himself to Brahma from within his heart. Therefore, the principles of Dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The principles of religion, the Vedas, the principles laid down in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are the laws of the Lord. They are spoken by the Lord himself. That's the reason they are called religious principles. That's the reason they are to be followed by each and every human being. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita. What does he order? So what is the purpose of the Vedas? What is the purpose of all these religious principles? It is to understand that these laws, the religious principles, are the order of the Supreme Lord. And what is the highest principle of religion? Krishna is saying that himself at the end of Gita, and that is to surrender unto him only, nothing more. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 66, Sarva dharmam parityagya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma suchaha. He says, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. And then he's saying, what will happen when we surrender to Krishna? He says, I will take away all your sinful reactions. We are always so afraid. Oh, I will get sinful reaction, then I will suffer. What is Krishna saying? You just surrender unto me and I will take away all your sinful reactions. But then Arjuna might say, no, I am scared to do that. What Krishna says, do not fear. He's giving the guarantee that what we have to do is just surrender unto him. That's all. And he will take care of us. That's why he's telling to Arjuna, do not fear. We are always fearful. No, if I surrender to Krishna, I will not reach the ultimate goal. I will not get the ultimate perfection. But here Krishna himself is saying, do not fear. The Vedic principles push one toward complete surrender unto him. And whenever such principles are disturbed by the demoniac, the Lord appears. So all the Vedic principles, all the scriptures, the Upanishads, what are they directing us to? They're all directing us to surrender unto Krishna, complete surrender. And whenever these principles are manipulated, misinterpreted by the demoniac, Krishna comes. He comes again to reestablish the proper religious principle. From the Bhagavatam, we can understand that Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna, who appeared when materialism was rampant, and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Vedas. So what had happened was the society had deteriorated so much that even the Brahmanas, in the name of the Vedas, were misusing the Vedas. Everyone was indulging in meat eating on the strength of the Vedas, because the Vedas have some injunctions. So they were misusing this Vedic authority. And that's the reason Lord Buddha came. Krishna himself came as Lord Buddha. And what was his teaching? He said that leave aside the Vedas. You just follow me. Because at that time, Krishna always comes and preaches according to time, place, and circumstance. What is the mentality of the people at that time? So Krishna is very practical. He comes and preaches according to time, place, and circumstance. So the people were misusing the Vedas. And so Lord Buddha came. Lord Buddha came there at that time. Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, people of demoniac tendency still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. So because people were misusing this Vedas, Lord Buddha said, the higher principle is non-violence. Don't slaughter animals. They are also living entities. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they're all described in the revealed scriptures. So what is the mission of the Lord? Why does he come? It's all there in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scriptures. So it's because many people misuse, and many people say, oh, this one is an incarnation of God, or that one is an incarnation of God. But we have to see the evidence. What do the Shastras say? What do the scriptures say? Because all the incarnations of the Lord are predicted in the scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken 5,000 years ago, already mentions that Lord Buddha is going to come, Lord Caitanya is going to come. And they came much later than Bhagavatam was spoken. So this is for to help us understand that we do not accept anyone and everyone as an avatar, as an incarnation of God, so that we don't get, our faith doesn't get misplaced. It is not a fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere, and whenever he desires to appear. So Krishna is not limited. He's not limited to appear only in this geographical area called India. No, he can come anytime, anywhere, wherever he desires. He's supremely independent. In each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. So we can see that a teacher who's speaking to kindergarten is going to speak in a way which the students are going to be able to understand. She's not going to be speaking to them some thesis which is spoken in the master's course. She'll just speak how much ever they can understand. And so that is what the Lord does. Whenever he comes, he speaks according to the time, place, and circumstance, as much as the people he's speaking to can understand. But the mission is the same. And what is the mission? To lead people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. Sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant, or himself in some disguised form. So Krishna comes. He comes to bring people back again to God consciousness, to understand that there is a God, to be obedient to the principles of God, principles of religion. What are the principles of religion? Religion means to love God. And that is the basic need of each and every living entity. That is our need, to love and to be loved. So Krishna comes time and time again, either himself or he sends his bona fide representative. Means, what does bona fide representative means? Means he sends someone. Krishna authorizes someone to come and teach us about God consciousness. So the principles of the Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter, to other highly elevated persons, because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in the other parts of the world. So we can see Bhagavad Gita is laying down the highest principles. Bhagavad Gita is speaking about the soul, is speaking about Krishna himself, is speaking about the spiritual world, is speaking about the material world. So it's giving us the highest philosophy that there is. And how is it that Krishna is speaking such things to Arjuna? Because Arjuna has the capability to understand them. His consciousness is highly elevated. That's the reason he's able to understand all this knowledge. We can see that not every time that when Krishna comes or his bona fide representative comes, they'll give such detailed knowledge. So 2 + 2 = 4 is a mathematic principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, they are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. So Krishna comes, his incarnations comes, or he sends his bona fide representatives, all to teach this principle of God consciousness. Sometimes the principles appear to be higher, sometimes appear to be lower, depending on the consciousness of the people that he's speaking to. As we just said, if the teacher is speaking to a kindergarten, then she is going to speak very simple, ABC. She will not speak complicated things. Although in full paragraphs, ABC is already included, isn't it? To be speaking a paragraph, to be writing a paragraph, ABCs are already included. So that is in a higher grade. So the higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the four orders and the four statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the four orders and the four statuses of social life. The four orders of social life and the four status of social life is the Varna, Ashram, Dharma. The Varnas and the Ashram. Varna are the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and Shudra. And Ashram is Brahmachari, Grihast, Vanaprast, and the Sannyas. Thank you. So this is, and so once people are situated in these principles of religion, then they can understand, what is this? I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So Krishna's divided the society in the four varnas and four ashrams so that they can be able to cultivate spiritual knowledge. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. So the purpose, the mission of Krishna and of all the incarnations is to bring us to the point of Krishna consciousness. Each of us has this Krishna consciousness in our heart. It's just sometimes it's manifest and sometimes it's not. It's just that. But each of us are Krishna conscious. Each of us has this original pure love for God in our heart. Because we each are souls. We are not this material body. We are all souls. And we have this loving relationship with God, who is the supreme soul, the supreme consciousness. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Any questions, any comments, any realizations to share, anything to share?
No, all good.
All good?
Yeah.
We accept everything we read. We read quite a few different things today.
All good.
We read that we read quite a few things that Krishna is completely independent. Krishna cannot be forced to come at any time. He comes out of his own sweet will. And then he says, Srijami Aham, which means he says he manifests himself. He manifests. It's not that he takes a material body. He can manifest himself at any time, at any moment, because he's omnipresent. He's omnipotent. He's there already in each and every atom of the universe as the Paramatma. It's only his desire when he wants to manifest before our eyes and when not. He's always present, but it is his will when he chooses to manifest himself or not.
But any specific reason why in India?
Why did he come to India? 500.
Yeah, every time, not any other part of the world.
But you mean why did Krishna choose India? Why did Vrindavan?
Yeah. No.
Actually, you know what? Before, originally, at the time of Maharaj Parikshit, this whole earth used to be called Bharatvarsh. It's not that the particular land of India was only called Bharatvarsh. This whole planet was called Bharatvarsh after the name of King Bharat. And that's the reason the whole planet Earth is called fortunate. We were just reading today in the morning that the whole planet Earth is so fortunate because Vrindavan is there on this planet. And Vrindavan is so fortunate because the gopis are there. And the gopis are so fortunate because Srimati Radharani is there. You know, this is just later that the countries got divided and then subdivided. But the whole planet would be called Bharatvarsh before. So the whole earth is so fortunate that Lord Krishna came here only 5,000 years ago, and we are able to read about him. We are able to hear about him.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? And then we also read that no person can make religious principles. Sure, people can make the laws of the country or laws of the state or, you know, laws of certain things, but no one can make the laws of religion. The laws of religion are made by God. Only God can give us the laws of religion. We human beings can't make it. Why? Because we have the 4 defects. So our knowledge is defective. And then the highest knowledge, highest principle of religion is to surrender unto Krishna. That is what the Bhagavad Gita is telling us to do. And that is what all the Vedas are telling us to do. Just surrender unto Krishna. Sarva dharmam parityagya mam ekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma suchaha. Just surrender unto me, he says. So if there are no questions, means we all agree that we have to surrender unto Krishna. Yes.
Yes.
And then how does, I'm sorry. And how do we surrender? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto me. But how do we surrender? How do we surrender?
Chanting. You
Yes.
listen all the scriptures.
Yes.
Read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam.
Yes. Thank you.
And that too regularly, on a regular basis.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. That's why, because Krishna 5,000 years ago said, okay, surrender unto me. But then he realized, oh, people don't know how to surrender, what to do. So he came again 500 years ago as Lord Caitanya and showed us how to surrender. He said, chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, hear from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, worship the deity. And as Sheetal rightly said, do it regularly. And that is the process of surrender. And then the more we do it, the more we are getting closer and closer to Krishna. Closer and closer to Krishna. So if there are no other comments, then we'll stop here for today. The other one is this is gonna be like, you know, a long one by itself. This is also very important verse, Paritranaya Sadhunam. So we can do that next week. And we can end for today over here. And
Okay.
thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Thank you for listening in. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shilpa Shyam ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.